I think most people are probably going to opt for a fight or flight here, but I think both the midfielders are going to go for aerials, if I had to take a guess. Actually, Freaking Chris opts to take fight or flight, and he opts to take the aerials, which is honestly pretty understandable on Juno goalie. When you B-check, you want as much range as you can to be able to put as much pressure forward as possible.
Yeah, fight or flight with the nerf stick guy isn't as strong as it was previously, but that's going to be a kill onto the side of Mold. Cero just placing that dash punch so well, and with the Fiery Fury, it's going to try to get that barrier, but isn't able to, and Dave, with the Giga Blast, is going to take that first barrier and put Mold at a huge advantage here.
Absolutely, Dave with this fight or flight and the slicks here is definitely going to get as much value as possible from touching the core, and that's definitely something that Kai likes to do. He likes to abuse haste as much as possible, so when he can just kind of do that on top of his base, like secondary, he can get a lot of speed, as we saw that. Like, he was able to get it to the X, and now they got the first point in the series.
Yeah, it's looking like the comp from the side of Mold is going into full fruition right now, as we see that the X is getting buffed here, but Dave in this corner playing it so well with the flip and just being able to sink the ball in, just completely overtaking freaking esports in the second point.
Absolutely. Gold is looking pretty strong. Straight pass from Everlasting Taco, which honestly I don't think was entirely necessary considering the fact that they are currently up to 2-0, and July pushing up a little bit aggressively there, which is kind of what you do on that pick, and kind of forced to have to do it too when the Kai goes down. Kind of got to cover that offensive pressure.
Yeah, absolutely. Dave with the Giga Blast is gonna send it around freaking Chris here, and the defense from Julag is, oh my god, almost gonna get the barrier, but not quite. Julag just placing that Arenado so well. I don't know how that saved the barrier, but back on the defense here, we have Cero with the punch. Isn't gonna be able to, quite secure the barrier, but that's gonna be fine, as Mold is gonna have the offense going here as the core flip goes into the Arenado with X Maximus coming out, not quite able to get the barrier just yet, but now it's coming back to freaking esports, and now like it's going really back and forth between these two teams right now.
Absolutely. Alright, and we're just only 2 points in, but Julik's nails have been looking absolutely gorgeous with like every single nail he puts down, minus the last one, has kind of been like a prophetic vision that he knows exactly where he needs to go at the right time, because that backwards nail he did to like hold that point was honestly very impressive that he managed to hold that barrier with the native that he had, because it kind of looked like it was great in the offense, but he actually was able to hold it down and be able to clear it out.
Yeah, I'm honestly honestly something else I wanted to point out is I'm quite surprised that Julak or nor Dave decided to opt into the aerials instead going for the fight or flight. Again, fight or flight did get nerfed this patch, so it's pretty interesting to see that they don't really care and just want the extra slicks value. But that's gonna be a barrier taken from Cero onto Mold, and Julak just striking it right into Cero, and that's gonna be Cero sinking in the first goal for freaking esports.
Definitely an unfortunate point there. I think Julak might have thought that Dave was going to try and stand on top of the Julie, maybe try and contest it with the strike core, but unfortunately, a miscommunication there kind of led up to the point. But that's honestly all good, because they're as long as they're able to keep the offense running like it is right now, it looks like they have just won the set pretty comfortably, and they might even win the other one, considering the fact that X and Era don't usually scale, or well, they scale very well, but like early on they're pretty weak. But we're seeing an X MVP in the first set here.
Yeah, X looking really scary in this MVP spot. Has so many options here. Could offer the spark, could offer the size, could even go for the rapid fire. It's gonna go for that spark though. That means Juno is gonna have quite a bit of options. It's gonna opt for rapid fire, but that means Kai has. I'm looking at this chrono boost right now. It's definitely gonna go to one of these two. Yeah, gonna be opted into the chrono boost on Era and missile prop from Dave. And I think honestly, the drafts are pretty equal, like in terms of how good it was for both teams here.
I absolutely agree. The rapid fire on Juno, I think rapid fire in general is just such a strong awakening overall, and having it on the goalie just gives him so much presence. But I am honestly kind of surprised that Kai did not opt to take one of these, opting to hold it in the hopes that maybe Air would get it instead, because now that I think about it, Dave actually didn't opt to get Dash Awakens at both the start and at the first set now. So maybe he's just kind of like opting for a little bit different playstyle, possibly just kind of a more chill, high playstyle where you just kind of proc all your speed on your. Well, I guess it's a more consistent warmer than burst heavy is what I should say, because he also has missile prop, which gives him a lot more range of influence too, and I'm still like a pretty stable type build, is like what I would say.
Yeah, absolutely. As Sero does sink in the first goal, despite all that being said. Yeah. Frickin' Chris gonna get the piercing shot, almost able to get that first barrier, but isn't quite going to just yet. But all the slimes coming out from Andy, it's gonna get the jump, get the save, but Taco is just on top of things, getting in this corner, so active in it, and but the side of frickin' esports, it's not letting it happen. And Andy getting the jump, gonna finesse Julak there. Sarah with the fiery fury is almost gonna get that barrier, but Julak striking it right out of it, and that's gonna be a sharp clear coming out from Andy. Just looking so precise with these clears, the flip coming out, and that's a KO on to Sarah. And Mold is looking absolutely like really good in this first point in the second set, but that is almost going to be the second barrier. I thought that was going in, but no. Oh, well, here we go. The first point coming out for Mold here.
And Everlasting Taco was able to follow up successfully. This era is once again putting in so much work with Nados, able to somehow manage to get an edge KO off the Nado. Once again, another soul read being performed off of this character. I feel like Julak must be like very comfortable in this character to be able to perform this since like have era Nados that are like this consistent. I just can't stop talking about it. But like on the flip side, this X and Kai are also putting in so much work on the offense here. It's and like they're also rotating goalie in midfield pretty consistently too, which I think makes sense because Dave was originally a goalie player, but role swapped to midfield up until recently, I believe, and we're definitely seeing some very good efficiency from Dave here as they managed to get the second point.
Yeah, I wanted to talk about that as well. Julak, I thought it was honestly going to be Era midfield and Kai goalie, but that does not seem to be the case here, as Julak has opted in for the off-roll Era goalie. But it's looking pretty strong here in this first game, as both barriers are going to be taken down on frickin' esports. It's not looking too great if you're on their team, but it is going to be, this point, it's going to be in their favor now, as the double barrier is being taken. Frickin' esports have a great offense now, as Julak is also looking pretty low here. The court's going to be rotated out onto Dave and Julak, both looking pretty low with no evade, but Dave just able to fight for his life here in this bottom side here, as frickin' Chris is gonna try and get that score, but is not gonna be able to, unfortunately. And Sarah with the dash plunge is just gonna be able to catch Julak so off guard and take the second point, putting us at a 0.5 here.
Well played by Sarah to be able to dash one from there, knowing that Julak really doesn't have any options as an era goalie to be able to contest that even in the midfield line. I think Sarah has been kind of like struggling to get the core to them, but as long as he can get in a comfortable position and he hasn't pulled out to score, he's honestly pretty consistent at it. The big question is actually getting there in the first place, as, oh man, Mold's just doing a really good job at keeping it on their side of the field right now.
Yeah, absolutely, as Everlasting Taco is looking pretty low, gonna have to get the evade, or gonna have to get the orb, but that means that Julak is gonna be taken out from Sarah's dash punch. Gotta watch out for it. Everlasting Taco going for the out clear, but it's not going to matter when Sero is on top of things. And Andy lagging a little bit is almost not going to be able to save that, but he is in the end. And Sero going for the dash plus the flip, or the fire fury, but it's not going to matter when the barrage is too much for Andy, and unfortunately lagging out a little bit there. It's going to mean that the side of Mold is going to get this second set.
Yeah, and unfortunately, spike from Andy there. Thankfully, didn't amount to much in the moment, but it probably just meant that he probably had a little bit more ping than what he was comfortable with, and as we can clearly see, the hotshot is denied from the Juno, but it doesn't really matter because not only was 1-2 punch there, but there's also a team player. It's honestly kind of impossible to deny the incoming core speed that the Juno is going to have here, but I think another huge pickup awakening here is also, there's actually quite a bit, I gotta admit, the heavy impact and the ad rush. Heavy impact on the air is like very strong, but also the ad rush on the Julie with the build-up they have going with the pumps, that could possibly turn things around if they manage to fish for those edge KOs and manage to get some success from them.
Yeah, I think the main pick here was absolutely the Julie with Adrenaline Rush plus Pummelers. If he's able to get the Adrenaline Rush online, this game could turn south really fast as that's a KO. On to Mold and Cero just going absolutely crazy in this corner, taking the first point for this set. It's looking really good for freaking esports right now. I'm not gonna hold you.
Absolutely. Sarah's already turned into a beast with just one awakening, as Average is really showing why Julie just loves this awakening. Even though Average has been nerfed over the course of a couple passes, Sarah with a really gritty dash punch there, but honestly respectable. We're just seeing how scary this awakening can be on Julie right now.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that but oh my gosh, Mold not going down without a fight though, as Everlasting Taco with the X strike reset is gonna get the barrier, but that is a dash coming up from Cero, gonna catch
Oh,
Julak. Oh my god, I didn't even notice that. Andy just whiffing the core. I think he might be lagging a little bit too much, as that is another point onto Mold, and a really back and forth kind of game right now. Of course, Mold is up 2 sets, but you know, I think freaking esports can get back into this game kind of easily if they're able to get this game if they're able to get this Julia ad rush going, as that's 2 barriers down, and Andy with the flip is able to secure it.
freaking Chris looking pretty strong right now. Is Andy acting as the midfielder and the brawler, being able to just jump forward and play very aggressively, which is kind of what you expect to see coming from Juno goalie, especially since they have a very good build for just being able to dive in there, and they have plenty of cooldowns to be able to make something happen. And like once again, but Julia Adrush has so much offensive pressure that they are able to capitalize off of right now.
Yeah, the ad rush is coming online this set, as Cero and freaking Chris are gonna try to get the blasting plates going, but it's not gonna matter because freaking Chris in this corner is just gonna sink the core flip into the net. That's gonna mean both barriers are down for Mold, and Cero with the perfectly placed shot. It's gonna mean that freaking Chris is not out of this game yet, or freaking esports is not out of this game yet, as they do take a set for their very own, and that's gonna mean that Andy is the MVP.
Absolutely, Andy was the MVP this set, but Sarah was definitely the hero, being able to get so many clutch kills and goals. We're seeing people first being covered by the Kai here, which is honestly understandable. A Spark gets picked up by the Juno here. We're coming into the fourth set, so that might not have as much value as we might think, but it's still possible to get two. Well, actually, the second Spark is right there, so it seems like we're going to be having some contention over the third Spark here if they manage to win in their set. But honestly, I think this is like a pretty stable draft overall. I think the highlight is definitely Cero with the bulk up. That can be so much power added on top of this already scary looking Julie.
Yeah, I definitely agree. But one thing I am quite surprised about is that Tempo Swing goes undrafted. Is Tempo Swing a weak awakening? I think Tempo Swing might be one of the best awakenings in this current meta right now, but it's not going to matter. The Tempo Swing does not mean that you're not going to lose out on barriers, as frickin' esports is down both barriers, as Dave and Everlasting Taco able to collapse so good on these barriers, and Everlasting Taco is gonna follow freaking Chris around like a hawk, as he is looking pretty low right now with Cero and freaking Chris being able to almost collapse on them pretty well, but it's just being cleared out back left and right, and now it's on the side of freaking esports, and the backwards Giga is gonna catch their own barrier, but they are not out of this point yet, as Taco walking up with the ball is going to shoot it, but the Juno Slime is able to deny the score, and Andy with the great strike war against the big era, doesn't care that his teammate is gone, is just going to take it for himself, gonna even save that flip for the next point. Very bold of him to not use his flip there, and it's looking quite good, honestly. I thought it wasn't looking too good for them, but they've turned it around now.
Absolutely, this Juno goalie is honestly putting in so much work, and now that I think about it, freaking Chris, usually kind of known for his Juno gameplay here, is actually not the one piloting the Juno, and it's actually Andy who's actually putting a lot of like very solid work on this Juno right now, as freaking Piss on Nestel maybe not looking quite as comfortable, but it seems to be okay because they have been starting to take a lead on this game here, so if they manage to snowball, like keep snowballing this lead, they honestly could easily bring this to a set 5.
I definitely agree here, as Taco with the X Maximus is going to be able to overwhelm freaking Chris and Andy. Gonna take this second barrier, and The blob's going to come out from Andy. It's going to mean that entire top side is covered, but Cero, again, with just such precision on these shots, means that they are up 2 points in this set. It's going to potentially take it to a set 5. The game, the tempo of the game is absolutely favored into freaking esports right now.
Absolutely. Some we're actually seeing the Julie scale harder than the FRCK right now, which is honestly hardly not as surprising as you might think, considering the fact that Julie did manage to get ad rush, and now they also have bulk up on top of that. So just like there's so much threat around the edges right now because of this Julie, and if you're out of position for even a second, this Julie is gonna dash punch you like that.
Yeah, absolutely. But that doesn't mean that Mold goes down without a fight, because they do take freaking Chris down with the goalie of Mold being Julak. And in this middle, we see that Mold, or Everlasting Taco, is kind of backing off here, not letting them get really past him. But that doesn't mean that freaking esports are not going to get that, through him, period, as now the offense is on to Mold, but Sarah with the dash punch just going to catch the barrier. Looking low, though, is potentially going to be KO'd here, but he's not, and the dash almost catching him, but Everlasting Taco does get the kill.
Okay.
Everlasting Taco looking pretty low now. It's looking pretty scary at this point. Freaking Chris going to have to hold the fort here.
Oh
and
my
Andy
God.
with the great jump, going to be able to secure the second set for freaking esports, and gonna take us to a set 5 heater.
Oh my God, Gino's got. I mean, this Andy person is just kind of playing on a 1v9 show right now. I'm kind of curious to see what he opts to pick here in the first pick. I'm looking at this fire up here as it's just so scary, and the moment that you like proc that fire up speed boost, it is just insane. But he actually opts to take the extra special, potentially to take it away from the X, which is understandable. But they choose to take the reptile remedy for that survivability, which is honestly pretty fair. X is a pretty bulky character naturally, and I can see that coming. And now it's actually Sarah with the fire up now. And the crazy build he has right now, he can definitely get so much value off of just doing stuff.
Yeah, Cero having so much, having so much potential to get so much speed off of the pummelers plus the fire up. If he can get those 2 awakenings online at the same time, I don't know if Mold is going to be able to take the point in that scenario. But right now, freaking esports looking great on this offense, but it's going to be cleared away from Julak. And freaking Chris looking pretty low. He's going to have to watch out a little bit, but Andy's going to be able to suffice for his low HP. And Dave with the great Giga Blast, being able to contain the ball even more. But Sarah with the great strike board is going to mean that the barrier is down for Mold. And Sarah and freaking Chris trying to collapse with the dash punch, but is not quite able to. Dave and Everlasting Taco with the great synergy there, taking the second barrier. But Andy with just the well-placed slime is able to completely stun Julak. Gonna make him shell-shocked and not being able to do much there.
Sometimes the best mix-up is just that there's no mix-up. And Andy clearly proved that that was the case, as he was able to get the first point here in the set 5. And it seems like the momentum is still swinging in freaking esports' favor here, as it is just so hard to stop the momentum of this Julie and everybody else on the team.
Yeah, absolutely. But Mold is not out of it yet. But however, the barriers from the side of Mold keep falling, as the ball is on the side of freaking esports right now, but it's going to be rotated out by the well-placed strike of Andy, and Cero just completely mixing up Julak, but Andy just stealing the goal for himself, taking every single goal in this game. I feel like Andy has probably scored about 6 of the goals here. I'm going to be honest, like approximately. But
Andy might have scored 6 of the goals, but I think at least 3 of them were deserved to be Sarah's, as Sarah's just been going absolutely crazy this game. And honestly, understandably so, with just how insane of a build that he has right now. It would be kind of surprising if he wasn't just popping off, and we are seeing that happen soon. Trademark, watch this.
Oh, well timed there from Breakson, as the ball is just going to sink into the barriers of Mold, and that's both barriers down for them, but they're not going down without a fight as the Monu. Arenado is going to get some pressure, as the dash punch from Sarah is going to mean that Everlasting Taco's recovery drone is going to be top, but it's on the side of freaking esports right now, and they're not going down without a fight, as Everlasting Taco just simply striking it in Andy's face is not going to be able to do much there. I think his strike might have been on cooldown, but that they're going to take that swimmingly into this next point.
Absolutely. Taco and Dave were able to compose themselves for a second there, and were able to note a pretty consistent offense on the corner there. If they're able to do more of that like they are right now, if they're able to just keep control of the court without dying, I bet they'll be able to potentially swing this around.
Yeah, Cero just so precise with these dash plunges. I wish I could play a Juliet like this, because this is looking absolutely ridiculous. Cero being able to pilot this Juliet so well, and being able to utilize the speed to his absolute full potential. But that is going to be the Aranado coming out, doing a lot of his HP, of Cero's HP, but the Juno Slime just being able to stun Julak and put the second barrier down to both teams actually, as we do see. But freaking esports with the offense here is, are they gonna be able to get this offense going? As no, it's gonna look like Julak is gonna be able to contain this pretty well, or gonna be able to hold this ball pretty well for himself, and not being able to quite secure the goal yet for either team. But Dave with the strike, with the well played strike, and it going right to Andy, and Andy just so on point this game.
Oh
But
my goodness.
that's a bell ringer straight to his face, and Mold has officially tied this game up. Set 5.5 Cinema in this game.
We are looking at a banger set 5.5 right now, and it's honestly been going all over the place once again. G-Likes Nados have been having so much value with that Monumentous pick up on the last draft, which somehow has gone unnoticed for so long. It's honestly just having so much value on the pressure here. It's really stabilized the corner offense, and it is really become a cornerstone, letting them be able to win the series with that last point from Everlasting Taco. And now they're up 1-0.
Yeah, I'm not sure if that point was winnable from the side of frickin' esports, as every single one of those players on Mold had the flip available and ready to go, as Julak and Dave just barraging themselves into the play. But that is gonna, freaking esports did put up a good fight in this first game, but that is going to mean that Mold does take the first game, and it's gonna, in best case scenario for freaking esports, it's gonna take us to a game 3.
Absolutely. Freaking Chris definitely making, well, I mean, freaking esports is what I should say. Honestly, putting on like a pretty good showing, despite the fact that they lost that series. By no means was it not close. It was set 5.5. They absolutely had some pretty insane plays from just everybody on the team. Like, Sayer was just going absolutely insane with the ad rush. He had a really crazy build and was absolutely capitalizing off of every moment that he could, getting all that ad rush. And on top of the fire up, too, giving so much burst mobility of their, not only him but also the entire team. It really added up, and it's what made this game so competitive. And not to mention the fact that Andy was contributing so much on offense as well. It was honestly kind of surprising that like you kind of forgot that Ember Monarchs was on the other side, and like Mold also is a very strong team, and they're able to put on like a really consistent like just offense as well, because they also had like a team comp that's just like explosive. Obviously, with Era on the net, they always had to play up really aggressively, and they actually managed to maintain like their monk mental, and they're able to like turn around in the last set. Despite the fact that they almost got reverse swept. I think it was like they were up 2 sets, but it went to set 5 if I recall correctly, because Sarah was able to pick up that ad rush, but they were eventually able to recover from that deficit and win the series.
Yeah, absolutely. Serio going absolutely crazy with that ad rush in the last 3 sets. But it's nothing to scoff at when you see your Juno has 5 goals and 5 assists. I think the most credit out of anybody in the game, aside from Dave, who has the same amount of goals and assists as Andy, that is nothing to scoff at. But going into this game too, we have Demon Days, and I don't know how this game could possibly go. I don't know who's like pick this is. I don't know whose pick this is. I think it's the side of freaking Chris or freaking esports that decided to opt for this map. I'm not sure if it's their comfort. I'm not sure like how they're gonna like pilot this map, but honestly, if they can keep the momentum they had going into this next game, I think they'll be pretty. I think they'll be able to maybe set us up for a game 3 here.
I can absolutely see that happening as like the entire team in general, really. When you're playing for damage, it's the whole team. They got a lot of KOs that game. Sero, especially, obviously, because they had the Juliet rush, so they wanted to secure most of the KOs, but they absolutely can play for damage, as we showed. And I could definitely see them winning the second game in Demon Days if they manage to get like a pretty comfortable comp. I know Sarah is also like pretty comfortable on that X, so we might even see it get banked out to be honest. But if they manage to get like a forward duo, like actually now that I think about it, Sarah's playing like three pretty damage heavy brawlers. The Julie, obviously as we just saw, but Sarah's also known for the X and the Zentaro. And Zentaro's been doing pretty good this patch, and I think that they could probably pilot pretty comfortably in Demon Days here. So if they get like something, for example, like a Vice Centauro, a very iconic damage start, and it's Demon Days, and also there's an Adrush Among Titans start. I I'm actually very intrigued to see how that turns out, because usually when it's Among Titans, everybody usually opts to go among, but in the case like this, I wonder if a team might go full ad rush, or maybe they just only have the brawler go ad rush, but then they have everybody else take Among Us.
Yeah, this start is looking extremely scary no matter what team you're on. Adrenaline rush among Titans, very polarizing start right now. Yeah, I think both teams either have to take Adrenaline Rush or both teams have to take Among Titans, or else you are missing out on some very big awakenings, possibly. And freaking esports is going to opt for the X. It's going to take out Everlasting Taco's X. But that means he's going to pick up the Drakar. Drakar being banned last week, he's nothing to scoff at, as he is looking pretty strong in this patch, as well as the Vice. Being able to just complement the damage so well here. And freaking esports, I think is a little more well known for the damage, as I think Andy has the highest damage in NASA, but he is opting for a signature Luna pick, as X and Luna being able to again complement each other so well, as yeah, both teams are just playing into absolutely so much damage here. But on the side of freaking esports, they do opt for a Juno, so I'm interested to see if the Juno goes for Among Titans, or are they gonna opt for Among Titans and hope that the side of Mold doesn't go for Among Titans, or hopes that a Mold doesn't go for Adrenaline Rush themselves.
Yeah, we have like a bit of a gambit in the ground start here. It's kind of just hard to commit to Adrenaline Rush, or hard to commit to Among Titans, and with Demon Days, you're not really sure which direction you want to go, which is completely understandable. And both sides here having pretty damage-heavy comps here. Like the Chakar and the Vice can be absolutely disgusting, but on the other hand, we have X and Luna, which are honestly equally as disgusting, even like especially with like an average start here. But Juno's a bit of an odd duck, but like at the same time, a lot of people kind of forget that Juno is very tanky and also has a built-in evade, so it kind of makes Juno a pretty stable pick to as a midfielder to play into damage, and that's kind of something I would like to have coming into even days. And she's not too bad at just kind of having chip damage as well, to be honest. And especially with your characters like X and Luna, there's definitely gonna be a lot of evades being burned as well. So we might be trying to capitalize on that evade economy as well coming into this match.
I absolutely agree here, but going into this game, I don't know. I'm just stuck on which team is going to pick Adrenaline Rush, or which team is going to pick Among Titans, or if they're going to opt into, or if both teams are going to opt into one or the other. As Juno and Asher, specifically like Asher goalie, they aren't known for their damaging capabilities. I mean, Juno still has a lot of damage. Don't get me wrong, but they don't have the best confirms, and they're not known for their damage. So it's going to be pretty interesting to see which team opts for what awakenings here, but I think if I'm the side of either team, I would opt into Adrenaline Rush here.
Yeah, for sure. And one thing's for sure, like you said, I don't think either team really has particularly strong kill confirms, minus arguably the Jakar. So it's definitely going to be a bit of a slobber knocker coming to this match for sure. And as we see, I think it was as predicted. Both midfielders and the goalie picked the Among Us, but the Brawler opts to take Adrenaline Rush, which honestly makes sense. I think both Brawlers are pretty good size enjoyers. I guess Jakar not so much, but we're having a really fast first game right here, actually, as the first both areas are already opened up on the side of freaking esports.
Yeah, one thing I want to point out is that Julak and Dave have roles swapped. So the Drakkar midfield coming out, I honestly thought it was going to be Asher goalie, or Drakkar like goalie, and that is not the case for either of that is not the outcome of either game or either situation, as Andy, I just realized, opted in for mom boots, but that's gonna be a great goal coming up from Everlasting Taco, by the way. Yeah, just perfectly placed Asher secondary just straight into their net and being caught off guard by that as well.
Absolutely, I didn't even notice that the Dave and Julak did roll swap, which means that the Asher Brawler is in fact in play, which means that Among Us actually has so much more value on like the Asher than Julak, as expected. And you're seeing a lot of damage already being laid out this game. But once again, a lot of people are. Oh my god, never mind. I was gonna complain about kill confirms, but they just shot Andy.
Yeah, Andy being shot dead in the streets, but Mold is kind of on the back foot right now. Never mind Everlasting Taco being just there for the count, as they're gonna be able to sink this ball into the net of freaking esports, and that is going to be Mold has a clean 2-0 lead coming into this first set here.
Very strong lead coming in from Wold here, and it seems like this Asher Brawler is honestly a very strong match fit to Luna here. As historically, it's honestly probably one of the worst. Oh, well, I mean, that matchup doesn't really matter when Asher's off the field, but once again, I feel like Luna really struggles into Asher. Even if it is Demon Days, it's just historically such a miserable matchup for Luna.
Yeah, Luna being so squishy is going to mean if Asher is able to get online with the corner stuff, with the Asher shield, it's going to give Luna such a nightmare to deal with. And that's a lot of damage being thrown onto freaking Chris. Julak and Everlasting Taco synergizing the damage so well, but Andy is out of his net. You're going to be wondering if he's going to be able to run back in time, but he is with the momentum boots and the Among Titans giving him so much speed. Sarah with the ball here is going to be able to strike away with the X Maximus, but it's not going to be the goal, as freaking Chris is looking really low here. He's going to have to walk back to the orb. He's going to have to throw the slime out. Andy and freaking Chris just roll swapping for a minute, as they're in position now, but they're looking pretty good. But never mind, as I say that, Everlasting Taco just shoots at the bottom corner, just taking the set for their own.
Yeah, a bit of a caster's curse there, unfortunately, but I think Andy is really trying to make as much value of Amon Boots as possible, and also there's the Deadeye right there. He's not offering the Deadeye. I guess he's thinking that he might not get it, which is honestly understandable, but he actually does. That is honestly a huge deal, but on the flip side, that does mean that Vice gets heavy impact. Damage is already skyrocketing on both sides here, as Temple Swing is still hasn't even picked yet, surprisingly. I'm honestly shocked that X didn't opt to take Temple Swing, because on a map like this, not only is that damage a blessing to have, but that survivability as well just comes in so handy on Demon Days.
Tempo Swing looking really weak coming into this next draft here. Tempo Swing just not being drafted once again. Sarah looking pretty low here at this top corner. It's going to grab the orb though, which means he's going to be at pretty high stagger, but Sarah just punching Julak, gonna leave him pretty low without an evade, but it's gonna be able to survive just a little bit longer, as both teams are kind of at a neutral position here, not gonna be able to really start an offense for either team. But frickin' Chris getting in here with the Juno jump is almost gonna be able to get that second barrier, but it's not gonna matter for Mold if they are just running them down perfectly here into this next set. But that's gonna be a kill on Cero, and Julak stunning both of the back lines out of the way, just getting a little too overzealous in this first point here and catching them completely off guard. But that's going to mean the first point to Mold is going to be handed to them.
Mold absolutely just kind of mogged them for a little bit there, kind of punishing Andy being out of position there, trying to play super aggressively, but unfortunately wasn't able to get the value out of it. And Mold earlier was at a really big energy disadvantage, and it seems like they still are. Just so much energy has to be wasted just dodging all these big hitting abilities like the Crater Maker from Luna, and if they're able to actually take advantage of this energy resource that they have that the other team doesn't, they should be able to hopefully turn it around and win the set.
I absolutely agree here. Cero getting shot by Drakkar, who has just come back from the field, but Andy and freaking Chris synergizing their abilities so well. Dave accidentally teleporting, I think, across the entire map with the extra dash range, but the Supernova is gonna 1v1 the Luna special so well, as the next dash punch being caught, Dave being completely caught off guard there, as freaking Chris sinks it in and gives freaking esports a breath of fresh air coming into this next point.
Andy's going absolutely beast mode on these dash punches right now. Having just like in that single point, he was able to get 2 kills with just his dash and his rocket. Well, I guess the first one was the corporate, but still, just really punishing the other team beyond the edge right now. And they just keep doing that. That's just so much for the other team to have to think about.
Yeah, Sero with the siphoning one, plus the adrenaline rush is going to leave Julak low, staggered. But Sero, running a little bit too close to the stun is going to mean he's going to be taken out for himself. Andy trying to predict where Julak's going to go with the sneaky Drakkar secondary, but is not going to be able to predict it correctly. As freaking Chris is going to be required to hold down the fort here, but the shotguns just keep flying from Julak. And that's a great stun on the core from Dave, completely catching Andy off guard as that is the next point being taken.
Yeah, and he was unfortunately not able to react to the secondary there, whipping his strike just as the stun came down. And there was a little bit of a blunder, but it doesn't seem to matter as they're putting all their damage on Everlasting Taco here. But freaking Chris is also low. And I just noticed that Juno, freaking Chris is actually on a Juno this time. And it seems like that he is seeming quite a bit more comfortable than he was last game, as this Juno is honestly just kind of putting a little bit. What did it work compared to the stuff from last game?
Yeah, and Sero looking really low here. You're wondering if Julak and Dave regret opting for the Among Titans. Instead of the Adrenaline Rush, they're also going to lose out on some sides. But Sero not being staggered anymore as... Oh, it's not going to matter though, because Dave with the great teleport once again taking the first barrier, but Julak being caught dead in the water as now they decide a freaking esports now over power play. I'm thinking that they're gonna sink their damage onto Dave or onto Everlasting Taco, as they're both looking pretty dire for some survivability here. Oh, and that's a goal from Sero, just sinking it into the net of Mold. We're gonna be at 0.5 here for the side of both teams.
They're doing a great job at converting that play there, and once again, we're kind of seeing like a classic tale of, well, not just this game, but right now, freaking esports is doing a pretty good job at killing the enemy, but the hard part for them is being able to convert afterwards. They might be converting or using too many resources to like kill the other team here. This means that they don't quite have enough abilities to be able to secure the barriers, get the goals, or like, you know, bird evade, do all that nice stuff. But right now, it's looking like they're pretty comfortable on the other side right now.
Yeah, a bunch of damage just being absolutely exploded onto the side of Mold, and gonna be looking at a pretty good spot here for Sero as he's gonna take that second barrier, but Andy not being ready for it as the second barrier is gonna be taken on his side, but it's not gonna matter because Sero just getting that well-placed shot into the barrier, into the goal on to the side of Mold, and that is going to mean that freaking esports is gonna get their first set here.
Absolutely, Sarah doing that all he really needs to do into like a pretty damage-heavy game as X, which is basically just use all your cooldowns on the other team, and then use strike to score, or like use strike to get barriers, and he's doing that pretty well. Like his level, like, you know, the fact that he's like the last in the draft on his team doesn't really matter because someone managed to get fired, which is once again crazy broken awakening that X managed to get here, and like he's kind of playing X low cortisol style right now, which is honestly kind of just how you play the character. And considering that you're on Demon Days right now, I think it's pretty fair to just use all your abilities to just damage the other team.
Yeah, Sero getting that fire up plus adrenaline rush combo again. If he's able to get online with both of those awakenings, he's gonna have such a fun time in this game here. As freaking Crest looking pretty low, is not gonna be able to get taken out just yet, but Everlasting Taco is hunting him down as he gets sent right into Julak's hands, and unfortunately Sero just dashing out of there. But freaking Chris is gonna get the barrier for himself. Is gonna mean that freaking esports is now in an advantageous spot, and the nuke coming out from Andy, such a well-placed nuke there, is gonna put freaking esports above Mold in this game right now.
Absolutely, that was just a really good setup from freaking Chris there to set up the Crater Maker to go and just like pocket it in the bottom corner right there. So very well done by Chris. Once again, showing a lot more signs from the last game. He kind of felt like he was kind of lagging behind the last game, but now it seems like he's come alive. He's on his comfort pick, and I was about to point out Sarah going for that punch KO, but unfortunately didn't get it. But yeah, Juno's looking really good. But Fighter playing the Chrono Boost, like, honest, not really anything crazy. No hotshot, no 1-2 yet, so this Juno still has a lot of potential to scale.
Yeah, Julak looking pretty low here. almost going to be taken out by Sero, but not quite yet. Sero just hunting this Julak down. It's going to catch him with the bell ringer while he's invisible, but he's still not going to be able to get KO'd right yet, but almost a great snipe coming out from Julak. Gonna put him at rest though, as the second barrier from freaking esports, or from Mold, is going to be taken down. Sero going for the kill on Julak, but a well-placed slime and a great pass from it as well is going to put it into Sero's hands completely, but that's a power play again on to freaking esports. They're looking so great in this next set, in this next set right now. And almost getting the play here, the amazing play from the power play there. Sero not going to be quite able to get the shot, but Julak with the Drakkar shotgun is going to just accidentally put it in for the side of frickin' esports, putting the 2 up in the set.
A little bit of flashback from our last game. Oh my god, everybody is dying, but yeah, a little bit of flashback from our last game there, as we also kind of did a similar thing multiple times with the Estelle. We're kind of seeing backwards primary once again, but I think you're like, honestly, it wasn't horrible, as oh my god, bodies are flying, just take it away, Daru.
Yeah, bodies are flying away, and frickin' esports looking in such an advantageous spot. Julak looking low, and frickin' esports have taken the next set, looking so good in this with this adrenaline rush onto Sero. Gonna get the dash flip here, and Sero is gonna be looking at that spark of focus. Unfortunately, isn't the MVP, so he might just not get it. But Andy taking the missile prop, forcing Dave to either deny the spark of focus or not, and he's not going to, which means Sero gets a second spark here, and it's looking really scary, as these cooldowns are gonna absolutely, like, they might just overrun Mold here.
Speaking of cooldowns, Drakkar also gets rapid fire, which could be a pretty big deal, because I think that there was like a thing with Drakkar primary which kind of like doubly affected his CDR. So I think like on specifically his primary, so him getting rapid fire could mean a lot more primaries than just 25%.
Oh my
but we'll
god.
see, as Sero is just kind of killing everybody.
Oh my
he
god.
is not discriminating, as he is killing everybody left and right on repeat right now.
Oh my gosh, the damage coming out from freaking esports is going to be catastrophic for Mold to deal with. That's 2 barriers going down, but Dave with the vice primary, with the hotshot heavy impact, is going to just slide it in. Andy, unfortunately, not going to be able to get there in time, as Mold is going to very happily take that first point. And suddenly the tempo, I feel like, has kind of changed now for the side of Mold here.
Absolutely, Sero just finding his demons for a second there in that point, but unfortunately was very unluckily not able to capitalize and get that point, as Dave just kind of went beast mode on him, just absolutely mogged him and just completely reversed the power play, despite the fact that he was in a 1v3 for a hot second. He was able to bring it back. And honestly, Dave, once again, since his teammates have been dying so often, he just kind of has to lock in, just like do as much as he can to be able to make up for the weight that his team isn't able to provide when they're dead, which it's not that they're like not playing poorly, it's just the fact that Sero and freaking Chris and Andy, they all just want them dead and they're succeeding.
Yeah, Sero and freaking Chris looking so good on this offense right now, but they are looking pretty low as they do get the second barrier. However, Julak also not looking long for this world, unfortunately, as he's gonna almost be taken out by the rock, but not quite. Almost such a great play there, but Sero almost getting that shot in. Gonna be blocked out by Dave so well, as the side of Mole is looking pretty low here. The tempo has not changed quite a lot, as that's gonna be a well-placed rocket on Andy. Freaking esports have, despite losing that first point, is looking very well coming into this next set.
Andy looking like he wants to stat away on some brawlers. Not only is he getting plenty of KOs, but he's definitely getting the points as well. Kind of reminiscent of the last game already, as he almost had as many points as Sero that game, despite the fact that Sero was going absolutely crazy. But like, once again, like Sero and Andy just have so much offensive power, while like freaking Chris is just kind of like the stable backline for them.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with that. I was kind of thinking about that earlier on how they would operate the offense, but they're going to operate on these KOs as well, as that's a KO onto Julak, and now freaking esports are in the power play. Everlasting Taco not looking very long for this world as he's also going to be taken low, but that's a kill onto Cero, and now suddenly the entire like pace of the game has just changed as Mold is going to take this power play and hopefully make something great out of it, as that's a dash punch onto Andy, and Everlasting Taco is just going to be able to sink that in, putting Mold at a very advantageous spot.
Everlasting Talker reminding us that Sarah was not the only person who took Adrush at the start of the game here, as he was able to kill Sarah off the top side there and just got so much value off of that Adrush, being able to get the point there. And if they're able to just fish for another KO like that again, they might be able to get the series, bring it to set 5 for the second game in a row.
Yeah, absolutely. As Cero looking kind of low, but so is Everlasting Taco. Gonna bring the flip here, gonna try and get a KO onto Cero, but not quite able to get it yet. And Dave with the stun, almost getting the second barrier off of it, and almost bring us to a set 5, but it's not gonna matter anyways because the side of freaking esports is looking kind of desperate for the second barrier, but they are going to get it as they are absolutely fiending for this kill onto Everlasting Taco here, as it's not going to matter, but the bell ringer going backwards, and Julak being able to capitalize off of the side of freaking esports, all striking at the same time and going to be able to put it right through them, and they're going to bring us to a set 5.
That was a crazy point to bring to a set 5 there, as both the brawlers were just throwing hands with each other, and Eddie seemed like he wanted to dig in on the fun here. And now we're seeing Akanis being hurt by Luna here, which is honestly pretty understandable because they probably just don't want to give the other team that energy economy, and it seems like Vice didn't want the Akanis either, so I'm kind of curious to see. Also for recovery drone, I think that's completely fair. I think both brawlers are probably going to go for size here, considering the fact that both their midfielder and like their goalie, oh, it's a double deny, 5D chest play to double deny the size and make X take explosive impact. That's pretty interesting. And honestly, I think the draft kind of goes into Mold's favor here, as they kind of just got a little bit more damage, especially with that Dave on that 1-2 and the build different on Julag. Just kind of like little things like that that'll definitely add up in the long run, since because they have recovery drone, it doesn't actually, never mind, it seems to matter. But freaking esports knows how to play damage way better than the other team, despite the fact that they might have more damage, because this Luna has Deadeye and X has Adrush. There's just so much damage going around all over the place, and freaking esports is just more experienced with it, being able to unload so much damage on the other team.
Yeah, Cero with the explosive entrance, gonna be a really interesting pick, as he wasn't really able to pick much else, but I'm very excited to see how he plays into this next set. But that is going to be both their barriers down on the side of freaking esports. And Cero's looking pretty low, but it's not going to matter, as he's going to take the second barrier, but he is going to go down himself, as Mole is going to look for the goal here. But freaking esports taking the dribble for himself, going to burn the flip of Dave's, and it's looking kind of unfortunate. Everlasting Taco with the shot, just threading the needle there. Andy being so close to saving that goal, but it's going to mean that Mold is looking kind of good going into this next set here.
Yeah, that was unfortunate positioning from Andy and freaking Chris there. Not able to cover the open net perfectly, which meant Everlasting Taco was able to force that 50-50, and since Andy clearly didn't have his dash up, it was basically a checkmate, especially in a scenario like that. They're looking like they have stabilized a little bit though, as they definitely quickly took those last 2 barriers, but it seems like they extended a little bit too hard, as now both barriers are already open.
Oh my god, what a well-placed shot from Everlasting Taco, getting through the hands of both freaking Chris and Andy, as they're now 1 point away from taking this entire series for themselves. But Everlasting Taco and Dave without evade is going to mean that freaking esports might be able to just pounce onto them, and they're not going to be able to do much about it, as that is going to be the case as the nuke comes out, and Everlasting Taco's drone is going to be popped here. And now they might be able to get something great out of that, but that doesn't mean that one barrier isn't gone, but that's the next coming out anyways, and Julak with the shot isn't going to be able to quite get it into the Juno slime. And now Mold is looking really good here, as the barrier, the goal almost goes down, but Julak sending it backwards into Dave. I'm not sure if that was on purpose or on complete accident, but Cero going with the flip here. It's going to burn the evades of all 3 of the members of Mold here, and now
oh my god.
Oh my god, and the pace of the game just completely got switched over, as now they are in a double power play coming into this next point. Freaking Chris taking the ball up for himself. It's not going to be able to get the barrier quite yet, but he does eventually end up getting it in the end, and that's going to mean that freaking esports have a much more comfortable time going into this point. The shield going to be able to catch the core, but Cero with the well-placed shot going right past the Vice power cord is going to mean that the side of freaking esports is gonna have some breathing room.
Absolutely, and he just like threading the needle of all needles with that beautiful corklet being able to send it to Sarah, and Sarah's able to send it to the bottom side. And it's just so hard to react to that with Vice, considering the fact that every option that you have for defense, minus your strike, obviously, is just like really slow. The fastest option that you have is a point blank ult, but like that really doesn't cover any range. So the next best thing is primary. It's really hard to time that properly, as we saw. And right now, it seems like the momentum is starting to swing in the favor of freaking esports as their damage is starting to be able to be piled up,
Oh
and
my
now it is
god!
0.5. Sarah was able to get the play with a beautiful bell ringer and a strike to block it in. And now we are on series point for the potential to be able to bring this to a game 3.
Another set 5.5 banger coming out the side of frickin' esports. They're not going down without a fight yet, but that's almost the barrier being taken, but not quite. As the frickin' Chris Juno Blob's gonna be able to hold the barrier single-handedly. As that's a Vice ult coming out, gonna take the first barrier, but Julak looking pretty low, almost getting caught by Sero's dash, but not quite able to get the kill for sure. Julak with the flip here is gonna take it up here, and Everlasting Taco with the flip is not gonna burn it for the barrier, but is gonna get the barrier anyways. Zero looking pretty low here. He's hopefully going to have to catch this orb, but is not able to. Mold just looking so good in this last point here. But Julak is going to get staggered again, and it doesn't matter because Julak is there and is going to put it in, bringing them to another set 5.5 that they took the hands from.
That was a cinema of a series right there. There is no better words to describe that. quite simply, the series might have been a 2-0, but holy, was that ever the closest 2-0 I've ever seen. As honestly, everybody there played really well. Freaking Chris and like freaking esports definitely played the damage game, and it definitely shows with the crazy amount of chaos that they were able to procure. Axe procking so many ad rushes, 7 KO. Well, Andy was 6, and then Sarah was 7 KOs, XD, Lamal, and once again, just kind of playing way more heavily into the damage on the other side. But it seems like that they weren't able to convert their power plays as efficiently as they were hoping, as Julak and like the rest of Mold were just able to convert. Like Dave also held it down pretty well in that Vice as well, despite the fact that both like Drakkar and Asher were just like fell victim to Zero and like everybody else so many times. He was able to just hold it down. Like I've seen some really well timed ults to just like dodge the hit stun from an ability, to be able to just kind of like skip the scary interaction of trying to like beat it with just a strike, which is honestly like a pretty hard thing to be able to do on Vice Goldie. So it's just like a little thing that I picked up that game that honestly kind of like did a lot in the long run, because he was able to like 1v3 and he used that, and he was able to just kind of circumvent all the hit stun that was being laid at him. He was able to outclear the core for just a second, which bought him enough time to be able to get his teammates back. And I don't remember if he actually like won the point afterwards or not, but he definitely bought time for his team to be able to breathe. And I think on the flip side too, like freaking esports also did a really good job at holding it down during those power plays. Like neither team was really able to convert efficiently, despite being like in a disadvantage for quite a bit. But unfortunately, it was Mold being able to win, and we did not get to see a game 3, unfortunately.
Yeah, I would have really liked to see a game 3, as these teams were looking really good coming into this series. And I'm just kind of wondering right now if freaking esports wanted to fully like opt in to that adrenaline rush, had like would the game have went any differently? That's all I'm wondering right now. But that is, I mean, Andy got 6 KOs of his own, so I mean, if he was able to proc adrenaline rush with all those 6 KOs, I think maybe something else could, like, the outcome might have been a little bit different. But that is not going to mean that is not going to discredit the immense victory of Mold coming out, as Everlasting Taco, Dave, and Julak all playing to their fullest potential here, as they just look really solid. Honestly, like that's kind of all I have to say.
Absolutely, it was honestly well played by them, and also well played by freaking esports. They may have lost, but it was certainly not like they didn't lose in spirit. You know what I mean? It was a wonderful game. I think this was probably one of the my favorite games I watched tonight. Well, honestly, I mean like Atlas forward. Atlas Forward did exist, so that's kind of hard to say. That is kind of beautiful, but honestly, this game was honestly so close. It's I'd say it's competitive for sure. But with that being said, that was the last game of the series tonight. That is all of the Omega Strikers that we have for this weekend. Oh, yep, that's right. There is actually a post show, as I was just reminded. So we will be coming to that shortly, but that is the last match for tonight. We'll see you guys soon. Bye bye.
Goodbye, fellas.
voice, my face, my personality. What would I have to be? If it's for you, then I change my everything. When I look into the deep side, my dark and silhouette is all that I can see. But soon I'll shine just as bright as you. And then you'll see
Hello, everyone. It is I, your humble fool, overlooking our great many clips that we have gathered from today. The bounty is bountiful. I'm great at describing things. I have a plethora of our great friends here today. We have Strages, Daru, Dave, Everlasting Taco, and Turbo here. Turbo. What are you?
I'm just a fan, bro.
That's a fan,
You're just
bro.
a fan? Perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect.
With reels,
Before,
too.
Big
before
fan,
we
even.
get into big fan. Before we get into our wonderful activity of the day, how is everyone feeling about their games? Let's go down the line. Strages, lead us off.
I mean, a little bit of a scare, but low-key, Vegs beasted out, and considering it was our second time playing together, not bad.
Yeah, I mean, I noticed the fact that you did not have your normal goalie, Storm, on the field. How was it playing with Vex?
I mean, it was pretty good. I was surprised with how well Vex played. Unfortunately, Storm got hit by, and I quote, 5 trucks in terms of an illness.
5 trucks?
So,
Wow.
yep.
Wow. That's a lot of
Damn.
trucks. Normally one's
Good
enough
amount,
to do
good
you
amount.
in. All right, down the line to Daru. How you feeling?
I'm feeling fantastic, bro. I felt really good after my win, honestly. I think the offense that me and Celsi had were probably the smoothest we've had all season. And the defense as well. Like, I was looking back, it was looking really smooth, honestly. It was a fun series.
We have a clip from one of your games today, and I think you're gonna enjoy it greatly. It's a very beautiful clip. Speaking of Celesi, fought them yesterday. Yeah, very strong players. Just saying. So impressive stuff today. Down the line to Turbo. How are you?
It was pretty good, pretty good. The it was. I mean, I'd say that I'm pretty happy with the game. We won after all. I will say it was. I had. We had the most confusing time beforehand trying to figure out what we wanted to do because we had no clue who. We didn't even know who was playing at that point. It was like
On your
I,
team or on their team?
we didn't know who they were like who their team was. So it was
Oh,
just
okay,
like
okay.
who are we banning? Who are we even like? What are we doing here?
It's like if they don't know what's happening, how could you ever know? Exactly. It's
Yeah,
the
I
age-old
mean,
adage.
exactly. They had us cooked, bro. We did not know what to draft at all. It was so funny. It was so scuffed. Oh my
The
god.
nefarious lizard almost claimed your lives.
It really did, man. It was
Yeah,
disturbing.
the lizard's feeling good. Down the line, Dave, how you feeling after your performance?
Low key, I don't really expect to get any playtime on my team, but winning's always good, bro. You know,
Yay,
I think I
yeah,
have
no, I
1% win
understand
rate
the feeling. Probably.
as a sub
I'm
only.
not a stats person, so I don't know. But yeah, I mean, congratulations. And then finally, let's end it off with Taco. How you feeling?
Felt miserable after that game, bro. I see Juno flying across the screen. I'm like, damn, I'm never touching this ball. And then I see Luna shooting me on the next map. I'm like, damn, I'm never gonna hit anybody. I'm like, this is a great time. We still won, but at what cost?
You're slime,
Okay.
bro.
Sometimes you win a game and feel like you lost it. You know what I mean?
That's exactly how I felt.
All right. Well, without further ado, we're going to do a little new post-show segment here while Potat maneuvers me around the scene, in which we look at some of the highlights from today's games. Yay! Look at that. The magical clip, man. Oh, I'm a forehead now. Right. Oh, and I'm gone now. How delightful. But I believe, yeah, we're starting off here with clip from Frickin' versus Mold. A beautiful set 5 here. Very close games.
I don't even remember what happens here.
Oh.
Yeah.
Bang.
Is this the entire clip? Oh, okay,
No.
right.
That
Oh,
was the
yeah,
entire
baby.
clip.
I was
Yep,
expecting something else, but it was a beautiful pass with the core flip.
that'd be cool.
W clip down the line.
Yeah, tell us how you got scored on. All
Dude, I
good.
missed my
Dave, how do you
bro.
feel about that one?
I think I should
This
just probably
one,
the X. I saved that if I just hit the
Oh.
X, bro.
some
Oh,
beautiful
hell no.
goalie violence on the field. This is what
Oh,
this clip is
God.
titled. We get to
Bro.
see our good friend Obscure Breads doing Obscure Breads magic here, taking out a flipped Juliet, while Zax Mac gets to wander around a little bit, doing some beautiful defense, and then, as we say in Polar Cortex, and then eventually
Oh, yeah.
caps it off with his own little revenge in a few seconds. Bang!
Oh, yeah.
That guy.
Dang,
Beautiful
bro.
goalie violence.
All good. Yeah, I know. I mean, Rasmus Julie Imizap, guys. It's quite it's something else, isn't it?
There
It
will
actually
be
wasn't even
bloodshed.
Rasmus or Julie.
Yeah, there's no Jakar in here.
I will comment. We got like 12 KOs this game minimum. He was going crazy on it. Big
Rasmus,
fan of this game.
Yeah, it was distributing. It was
Is Jakar weak? Where's he at?
Great
Good.
question.
It's a good
man.
question.
I don't
Jakar's
actually
weak,
know.
Clearly.
I think it
we
was-
should we should
was
give
it
him another
s-
10 buffs, I think.
That's true. I agree. I'm so down for that, actually.
I don't know about that one.
All right, moving down the line as Potat gets the
Is
next
this-
clip set up.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh, it's the same one.
Oh yeah,
Oh.
no.
I get down.
This game was a heater.
We don't
Lions
talk
versus
about it.
Oh
Pantheon.
yeah. Oh my
Lions
god.
getting their first win today. The Flowers Iron Sphere How does it feel, Pantheon? Strages
They have a
in
map win,
particular.
or they've won a map before.
Okay,
Well,
okay.
I think it's their second. Yeah.
Yeah, but how does
Yeah,
it feel
at least we're
about
not
the
first.
Iron
At least we're
Sphere?
not first.
Real. Low key, Flowers was moving these sets. I'll say it. As a resident Flowers
The KO
hater,
range was a little
He
interesting.
had everything.
as
It's
resident
crazy.
Flowers hater, I will say she was moving these games. And this
Oh
point
my-
was capped off with a beautiful pass up here. Boom! Iron
Pass.
Sphere, shove it in. Let's gamey.
Let's
Good
go.
work, Flowers. Good work, Lion Eat Bears. Just do it next week, you know? No one beats Lions 9 weeks in a row.
That's true.
They've skilled.
All right.
Trust.
And then, and then, and then,
Man.
And that,
boom. Another
Oh,
set
yeah.
5.5 heater from today. Mold versus Frickin'. I think, like this game in general was incredibly close, and there was some great movement going on here overall.
Yes.
Taco, at one moment in time, I think Taco had like 5 volleys in the top of the map. It was really beautiful, like strike range-age going on, if those are words that can be spoken.
you know, I'm pretty
But-
sure I know what you're talking about, and I'm pretty sure we lost that point.
I think you
I-
did. But it was kind of nice. You did get the barrier eventually.
Yeah.
It was pretty cool. I did like to see the
Yeah.
movement there. But just some nice team play on this set point. Should feel pretty proud of this.
It was a solid series. It's fun. Yeah.
I had
Yeah,
pain
very
and
solid
suffering.
series.
Dave was there to be my motivation.
Hell yeah.
I was just saying stuff. I don't even know what I said half the time.
That's
W
all
Dave.
you need to do.
Whenever you get the core, I'm just like, go, 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 go.
That is comms in a
Speaking
nutshell.
of Dave, how has the Kai been feeling? I've personally been loving Kai this patch. I think he keeps getting better and better. And so, how does it feel to pilot him on the midfield?
I think he feels really good, especially when they don't have that much damage. You know, there wasn't that much damage that game, so I didn't feel like I was getting 5 strikes thrown at me. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kai, when you don't have to
On
fear
to-
for your life, is so nice.
Real. Same thing with Octavia, low-key. She's on the come up. She's coming back.
I
Well, that,
But yeah,
that missile
I
prop
next
don't
did
know.
work right
waiter,
there.
waiter.
Oh yeah.
This
huge,
one,
let's
this
go.
one was a clean play. This was clean play from Turbo here. I noticed this. Big fan of the IME
Let's go.
gameplay.
What did I do?
Nice
don't
work from
remember.
Zonseki doing this, and then
Oh,
watch the
yeah.
pop
that
right
was
here.
clean.
Bang!
Boom.
Strike reset
Let's go.
right between the legs of both of them. That was a really good find. Big fan of that play. Not to mention the corner offense was really good as well. Zonseki, you were playing really well in this at-lap game.
Thank you. That's what we go. That's what we go for. Oh yeah.
You know, it's a clean glitch pop. Right between Zack Smack and we was also putting on a clinic these games. Yeah,
He
I mean, I
was,
said it
dude.
about the IME Zap game, but we was doing really, really well.
Dude,
I don't
we
think we
didn't
got.
think.
Actually, I think I have a clip from. Oh, I did get a clip from Wii, but it's not a great one. I think that's about to be the next one that gets showed right about now. But
I was.
yeah, is that
Dude, I
gonna be
was
this
so
one?
surprised to see him midfield. That was hype.
Yeah, the Wii midfield went kind of crazy. Obviously, we all know him as a brawler, but not bad core control. Next clip though, it might be the Wii, Estelle. Yeah, I have a feeling I know exactly what this clip is. Obscure Breads threading the needle.
Oh.
Good work, Wii. Leaving the
Bang.
field. Get out of there. He's long gone. Not scoring that. A little aggressive misstep there, but yeah.
Oh yeah.
For a game that we played very well, I think I grabbed the one moment he played quite poorly.
Oh,
But yeah, no, Obscure Breads also did a phenomenal job these games. Low key, that Breads guy is still top 5 at goalie in the world, probably. So watch out for him.
he is the goat. Holy. My goat, for sure.
With that being said, is that the last clip or is there one more? Oh wait, there's a few more. There's 1.5 more clips. This one is the clip that Daru's gonna enjoy.
Oh hell yeah. What do we got?
This was some incredible set play from Nova. This entire point. It goes on for quite a little while, but ultimately, great revive from Moonbeam. I still don't know how Moonbeam does it on like 80 ping.
Moonbeam's the fucking goat.
Yeah, Moonbeam has been looking super clean. Beautiful defense against the Asher here. Celestia also looking amazingly strong. Good portal play.
Oh,
Daru
this
with
is that
special.
clip.
Yeah. Boom, the team player of dreams.
Oh
The
my
team
god.
player going crazy.
Look at these passing plays. I
No
mean,
way.
it's beautiful. And then keeping the momentum
God
alive. Bang! And then what
damn.
a read. Good work, Daru. Good work, Celestia, and good work, Moonbeam. Nova's been looking
That was
hella sharp
phenomenal.
these games. You know, this was
That
That's
was
what
this
I
was
was so
impressive stuff.
happy of this, honestly.
You know, you guys played that expertly. I really like the passing that was Kareen.
Thank you, brother.
But yeah, just keep that going one more time. I want people to see the lines, the theory that was
I want
going
the people
on.
to see that, but I don't know if I
I
want
want
to
the
see
people
that.
to see boom, boom, bang. And then
God
we
damn.
keep the passes open. Yeah, team player might be a little broken, but look at that. Through the portal as well. Yeah, I mean, phenomenal execution. Very good work, Nova. Very good work. All right. And now for our final clip. This one is a little production thing that occurred.
Oh.
You might want to watch the eardrums, folks.
Oh no.
Oh, that's good. It's been turned down from 59 decibels, so that's nice.
Dude, that profile pic from Fresh is so
Wait.
good. What do we got here? I can't even hear anything. Oh, okay.
A long time. And meow, well, not
Gotcha,
the,
gotcha.
not the hottest season, probably doing a little worse than we expected. No, not Team Scott that either. A little technical difficulties occurred, but yeah, ultimately, pretty funny stuff and great stream run from Potat. I'd just like to shout this guy out again, doing God's greatest work. Yeah, ultimately, been pretty fun watching these. Tater and Tot, long live it. We're making my forehead massive again. Oh, I keep getting larger. How delightful.
Hell yeah. I've disappeared as well.
we've eaten.
I've been devoured.
Bro. I'm just
no.
so hungry. Like if I look this way, yeah, if I look, you know, there you go, I
No.
chomped him.
Oh hell no.
Bro, there's a taco right
Yeah.
there, please.
No, I'm simply hungry for the fan, you know? Sometimes you have to eat the fan. Anyways,
All good.
I have been your host, Samuel Zoro the Fool Zachinsky. It's been a pleasure joining you on this week 8. One more week. I'm yapping. It's not over yet. Yeah, but yeah, it's been a pleasure. Had a great time watching this series, and I hope to see you all again next week. We have more fun things planned for the future, and so yeah, keep tuning in. Any final comments from the people about next week? What you're looking forward to when it comes to your games and whatnot?
Julock sucks, but I love him.
Oh.
I didn't hear the question. I was zoning out. So.
The lobster.
Oh,
any final comments before we head out? Why are we making my face bigger? Here, wait, here. Want to get on camera?
Sure.
Here, let me turn my camera slightly. That's the wrong way. I have brain disease. Say hi, Marge.
Hi.
Oh yeah.
Whoa.
There we
W homeworking. All right, that's about it from me.
go.
He's gone.
He's gone.
Oh, he's
All
back.
right.
He's gone.
I keep moving
But he's
around. This is the longest goodbye of all time, but yeah.
It's
Bye-bye.
okay. Here's how you do it.
Oh,
And he's gone.
That is how you do it, bro.
What?
He's had enough.
What is?
happening?
Oh hell no.
Discord.